Good morning, good day, and good evening to all the viewers who tuned up to this webinar on Eltex service routers. Today we're going to talk about the real-world use tips and tricks on our routers and how you can implement them in your day-to-day challenges. My name is Alex, or Alexey Maslov. I'm the product manager of International Sales Department, and right next to me is Ilya Korneev, engineer of Broadband Service Center. Hello, Ilya.
Hello.
And while we are waiting all the viewers to tune in, I'm gonna run a couple of announcements. One of them is that it's not the only webinar that we are hosting for you guys. We have quarterly updates on some of our product lineups, being Ethernet switches, service routers, and our new edition video surveillance. I'm myself doing them for you on the beginning of every quarter. So please tune in to our webinar website, being webinar.eltex-co.com. And at the end of this webinar, you'll see a QR code, so you can scan it and sign up for announcements. So you'll get notified before the webinar and you won't miss any of them. And another short update is in regards to our courses on our equipment. There are a few different courses that we do almost monthly, usually a few times in a month. These are the courses on Ethernet switches, service routers, Internet telephony, VoIP, and wireless products. These courses range based on the level. There are basic sort of 101 courses and advanced courses. So please contact our sales managers for details on them, when they're scheduled and who can participate. For details, and you are more than welcome to sign up either online or come to Novosibirsk, to the heart of Siberia, to Eltex, and attend them at our premises. So without further ado, we'll start our deep dive to Eltex service routers. And I'm gonna share with you a bit of an overview of our product lineup. And first thing I'd mention is in regards to the wording. On the website you can see ESR under Service Gateways tab. And this is basically the same thing as service routers. We use that wording interchangeably. For ease, I'm gonna refer them to routers throughout the presentation. So all of that is basically ESR. We also have ME, a series of MPLS routers, but they are out of the scope of today's presentation. So we are focused on the ESR series today. So we have 3 tiers. This is how we usually classify them at Eltex, and one of them being is 15 series of Eltex service routers. The only model that is in the desktop sort of form factor would be ESR 15. And there are also entry-level models such as ESR 15R to be mounted in the server rack. Next one would be medium performance routers. A typical example would be ESR 30 and 31. They are also for service rack mounting, and these ranges not only do they differ by the port configuration. So you can see the port configuration highlighted here next to each and every model, but they also range in performance. So performance measured in the firewall mode, in encryption mode, and IPS IDS mode, all listed next to the devices, but also the difference in between these different tiers in the number of VPN tunnels they support. So the most performant one supports up to 500 tunnels, and typical examples would be the recent releases released this year, ESR 3250 and the ESR 3350, and the performance is quite significant. This is more for the data center options, and Ilya will explain the use cases and the technologies that can be utilized for the data centers in the presentation. And last but not least is our virtual ESR solution, VESR. This is our software implementation of the good old ESR router, and it pretty much follows the pattern in terms of the technologies it uses. So pretty much everything that you have in the hardware routers you can expect from virtual ESR, but it's a little bit more flexible in terms of how you can scale this solution. It is pretty flexible and pretty convenient for testing. You can request a test license, install it on a dedicated server, and try it firsthand. And this solution is really good because you don't need to bring any hardware into your office. You install it on the server and see if it works for your use case. All the highlights, I'd rather say, of the functionality is listed on this slide. The thing worth mentioned is that all the ESR models, all the routers models, including the virtual one, they share the same operating system, which is a great thing in terms of the features they offer. So you can expect the same feature throughout the lineup. They differ very slightly, but basically from the ESR 15 models all the way to the 33 series, you can expect the main things like routing protocols, security features, from good old firewall to advanced intrusion detection and intrusion prevention systems, DMVPN that we're going to cover in this presentation, remote connection features, and so on. And important thing is licensing. There are a few things that are not you're not getting out of the box, and you need to license separately. There are not many of them, but there are a few I'd mention. IPS IDS, I already mentioned that. BRAS functionality, this is a broadband remote access server, and also ECCM. ECCM is our equipment management system, and the licenses for individual units need to be purchased separately. And from here, I'd like to let Ilya do the talking and introduce the first use case.
Thank you, Alexey. To begin with, let's look at how ESR routers are able to solve the issue of organizing internet access on the scale of small office or campus network. When organizing and building campus and small office networks, the key factors is selecting devices and their flexibility and productivity. For networks of this scale, ESR models from the entry series or tier will be an excellent fit, being able to serve as edge access routers and ensure connectivity between various network devices. To connect to the one, you can use DHCP by getting the address from the ISP or by setting the IP address manually. You can also use PPP protocols like this PPPoE or PPTP or connect a USB 4G modem altogether in case of redundancy settings or lack of wired connection. Speaking of redundancy, using multi-WAN technology, you can set up access to multiple ISPs for other ISPs from one router at once. Multi-WAN can also configure it via USB 4G modem. For monitoring and management, the router supports SSH protocols with the possibility of authorization by certificates, Telnet, SNMP version 2 and 3, NetFlow and SFlow. To organize the basic operation of network devices in the office, services such as network address translation for translating private IP addresses of workstation to public ones received from your ISP and getting access to the internet. Routing, static and dynamic, like this BGP, EBGP, IBGP, OSPF, ISIS and RIP. Firewall, zone-based firewall is the main functionality of traffic restriction based on the description of the rules for the interaction of zones assigned to interfaces. You can use it to restrict access between different office departments, for example, such as accounting and sales. A variety of DDoS defense functionality that will protect the network from network attacks such as TCP/SYN flood, UDP or SCMP flood. The spy blocking functionality will allow you to prevent espionage attacks by type IP sweep, port scan, spoofing, TCP and SCMP attacks. As well as the functionality of protection against suspicious packets like this fragmented or large SMP, fragmented UDP or fragmented TCP/SYN, which should not be present during normal operation TCP connection, as well as other known protocols, whatever you don't have on your network. Quality of service, including hierarchical cost to ensure optimal bandwidth between latency-sensitive services, for example, audio conference or video conference, network device control flow, and other user traffic. DHCP server for simplified configuration of work computers, phones, and other office devices, printer, plotter, 8K, and DNS server for services based on name resolution. As a common example, it's a web browser. Syslog for logging events acquiring on devices, and network time protocol for synchronization and provision of single connection, single correct time in all office devices. So.
Thank you, Ilya. That was very detailed explanation. And on the other hand, I'd like to bring a little bit of a down-to-earth approach to this and explain on more where we can utilize this use case of a small office campus network. So let's turn on our imagination and think about a little bank that me and Ilya founded, say, in Dubai. Following the latest trend, let's call it Labubu Bank. So we founded Labubu Bank. It's a little private bank, little office in Dubai, and essential thing would be connect to the internet for any office operation. And this can be achieved for a small office exactly by the ESR 15 series of routers. On this slide here, you can see the router that various computers can be connected, and in the case specifically if you have analog telephony in the office, you can opt for ESR 15 VF model which has 4 analog ports on board for the telephony. So it's a good out-of-the-box solution for this use case. Ilya had mentioned a few technologies, but the main purpose here is to implement a bit of redundancy in terms of internet connection. This can be achieved either by using USB modem, 4G modem that can be just plugged into one of the USB ports of the device, and also multi-WAN allows you to connect to more than one ISPs. And a proper setup of a wire firewall and monitoring features leads to a secure and controlled network environment in the office. And this is the whole idea of implementing Ethernet router. So the outcome is that with just one unit, we killing few birds with one stone, and we have static and dynamic routing, secured access to the internet.
As the company grows, so do its needs, including the availability and uninterrupted internet connection. When organizing a large office, one of the key factors is the continuous operation of the network and the services running within it. To do this, the ESR implements cluster functional. Using 2 devices operating in active standby mode, redundancy of services on routers is provided. For convenient maintenance, the ESR implements the functions of unified cluster management, which allows you to use only one node through which all configuration commands and queries are executed. With the help of the IP SLA and tracking, it is possible to monitor the availability of the main communication channels with the internet, changing in case of any incident on one of the WAN connections, the parameters of such services on the router as BGP, like parameters community, extended community, and SPAS. Various routing parameters, WireP priority, and the status of the physical and logical interfaces of the router. For centralized monitoring and management of the Eltex devices, including ESR routers or MES switches, it is most convenient to use our own network management system called ECCM. With it, you can simplify the monitoring, management, and maintenance of Eltex devices. In the above of the diagram, this slide, ESR 1 and 2 are assembled into a one cluster, terminating the main list of the same services described earlier.
Thank you. So our Labo bank is growing, and the internet connection becomes very significant, as well as proper redundancy. So at this point, we want to implement a cluster with multiple devices. At this point, the likes of ESR 30. ESR 30 is a great example of a model that would do the job for a growing office. We can implement active standby 1+N cluster up to 4 devices, where we have one active and other devices at standby mode, and getting a little bit ahead, we are planning to implement proper active cluster in the first quarter of 2026. So keep updated to see the announcement about the release of the new software with this feature. So this functionality is implemented on a VRRP protocol, and this is a proper redundancy where for any reason, should a hardware device go out of turn off or loses connection, another one is fully synchronized and able to get in control, and you have almost zero downtime. So to all the advantages explained in the previous slide, we add features such as multi-WAN and proper redundancy of internet connection, and we can also implement things like DMZ area, so proper demilitarized zone behind sensitive parts of our system where access restriction is crucial.
In the case of organizing a network of several offices geographically remote from each other, the question arises of securing transfer of information between them, like these offices. The classic solution to this issue is to build site-to-site VPN connections between all offices. But the problem with this solution is the big configuration of these connections. For this, you will have to set up point connections from each office to each of the remote ones. That's why ESR allows you to combine remote offices with a reliable and easily deployable solution, DMVPN. It is lies in a one-time configuration of an IPsec encryption channel, dynamic routing protocol, and one dynamic tunnel at each remote location, instead of having to set up a site-to-site connection every time a new office is opened. This technology is implemented in 3 phases, each of which allows you to route traffic through a public internet network in a secure tunnel in the way you need, all through the head office or only between separate branches. DMVPN technology on ESR routers is compatible with equipment from other well-known vendors that support it, such as Cisco and Huawei. To ensure reliable encryption of the VPN channel, ESR routers support modern encryption algorithms up to IS-256 and authentication up to SHA-2-512, as well as 509 certificates. Traffic filtering instead dynamic tunnels is carried on using a zone-based firewall and dynamic routing mechanisms such as route map and prefix list. In the upcoming releases of new software version, the public key infrastructure or PKI functionality will be supported, allowing ESR to act as a full-fledged certification authority for X509 certificates. Devices from the mid-range and high-end ESR lines can be used for the hub role, depending on the number of offices to be connected. For devices in the spoke role, ESR models from the low and mid-tier lines are used.
Thank you, Ilya. So as you can see, our Labu bank here is growing quite significantly, and our office had become our headquarter, and we actually expanding. So we opened a brand new office in Doha and decided to acquire office in, say, Bangkok. So now we have 3 offices that we need a secure transfer of information between them. This is exactly where DMVPN comes into play, because with this technology and its implementation on ESR, we can achieve easy deployment we can achieve quite a few options to choose from when it comes to encryption, and we have dynamic routing, which and last but not least, fairly easy configuration between offices. So should we add another office to our network, it's just a matter of configuring one dynamic tunnel per location. And speaking of the office that we had purchased, since there was already the third-party infrastructure, and because Ilya had mentioned that DMVPN, our implementation is compatible with third-party equipment implementations, it's going to be no issue adding that existing infrastructure to our network, because Eltex implementation is compatible with third-party implementations.
Of course, ESR is not devoid of classic implementations of remote access solutions, and therefore, with its help, you can easily organize VPN access for employees of your organization who are outside the office to their workplaces. ESR routers connect as remote access servers for protocols such as L2TP, OpenVPN, and IPsec, including X509 certificates. It also allows you to configure site-to-site connections using protocols IPsec IK version 1 and version 2, L2TP version 3, and WireGuard. In the diagram shown on this slide, ESR Hub 1 can act as a remote access server of some protocol, for example, 2TP. Both static and dynamic routing protocols can be used to ensure connectivity with highlighted in gray routers named as routers. Quality of service will delimit the bandwidth of traffic, allowing latency-sensitive services to operate correctly. For example, audio conferencing, video conferencing, telephony, as well as channels for guidance and so on. By the way, devices highlighted in gray, named as routers, can also be ESR devices that act as a border gateway.
Thank you. So as you can see, it is a great example of remote access, and we at Labubank certainly want to offer our employees being able to work remotely and connect to their office places from home. It can be achieved with the whole range of ESR equipment. The choice will depend on the size of our office, so depending on the branch size, whether it's small from ESR 15 to all the way to the higher end models. And there is also a range of protocols to choose from when it comes to remote access, either OpenVPN, L2TP, IPsec VPN. So there is quite a few of implementation of this. And advantages would be it's not only suitable for daily work from home or from remote location. It's also suitable for if your employees would occasionally connect to your network, or for remote troubleshooting of the personnel, so they don't need to come to your premises. And it's quite common use these days. Another example, actually just a few years ago, we had COVID lockdown, and God forbid, but should we have a lockdown in the future with a solution like ESR acting as a remote access center, a remote access service, you will be lockdown ready and to let your employees work from home.
The ESR router high-end tiers includes models installed in data centers. With their help, you can synchronize your infrastructure located in different data centers, bringing to a fault-tolerant model. WAN connections to several ISPs are made from each of the ESRs located in the data centers, and site-to-site IPsec connections are built between them with bandwidth allocation by quality of service mechanisms. The office has the usual infrastructure for campus networks in the form of standard services such as routing, static or dynamic quality of services, network address translating, DHCP, and ATK. This way you get access to your infrastructure located in data centers from your company offices, and don't worry about the security of communication channels and the reliability of services.
Thank you. Yeah, as our mentioned Labu Bank grows, we are getting data centers, and these data centers, as a common pattern, they are geographically spread throughout different regions. So how do we get secure infrastructure synchronization and fault tolerance in one solution? Our ESR 32 and 33 series would be great examples of the equipment that can achieve that for larger data centers. The one like 3250 or 3350. And the technologies utilized in this approach, there are range of security protocols allowing us to set up secure site-to-site IPsec tunnels, and things for bandwidth allocation such as quality of service, and our usual basic static and dynamic routing protocols all work together to achieve remote data center working as one is in a redundant manner. So this was our last example, our last case of how the ESR routers can be used. And I also wanted to mention other solutions that you can consider ESR routers as a replacement. So there are a few different solutions on the market. Some are more known, others not so much. But ESR, because they are universal, that can they can cover quite a few use cases. So these can be alternative to Cisco, Microtic, Juniper, and other router solutions. And when you're considering a certain brand, a certain manufacturer for your projects, think that you want to consider, or the limitations you may face, they may be related to a few things. One of them being, of course, the features, the functionality, or the performance in general of the device. So you may compare different models and find that ESR actually does the job best for you. Another important consideration is always pricing, the budget concerns. Every project would have them, and ESR solution is definitely a thing worth considering. The product origins also may be of importance for some countries. Things like limitations like being non-American or certain country origin may be a limitation that you face in your project, and Eltex is a great alternative for these. And also technical support, our documentation, our webinars, of course, and our trainings that we run. It's all factors in your choice of the device you're using for your project. So it costs you pretty much nothing to contact one of our sales manager and ask, hey, I have this project, we are trying to achieve this and that. Can you give a solution? Or we have solution from competitors. Can you give us an alternative? And we would definitely be in touch and let you know what we can offer. And from here, I would switch to the Q&A section. We haven't seen the stream of questions while we were speaking. I can see that there are not many, and our colleague actually addressed some of these. Thank you, Maxim. And yeah, there are actually questions about IPsec. I would reiterate that our viewer asked whether they can use DDNS remote site without public IP, and got an answer. No comment on that.
No, it's not should supported in our realization.
It's not supported at this point, but please keep tuned in because we have update cycle of about 3 months. Every 3 months, or sometimes even earlier for patches, we have new versions released, and later, sooner or later, you'll get the functionality that you request in these updates. So obviously we have a backlog of tasks. Obviously we have a plan of the features that we implement. So please do not hesitate to contact us and ask a certain feature to be prioritized and get into the our future release. So from here, I would share these QR codes with you, one being for our LinkedIn, where we have a whole lot of announcements and other things we share with you, and our webinars page, where you can sign up for announcements specifically for webinars. And I would like to remind you that we're always here. We always like to talk to you. You know that you can contact us in social networks via email, and we'll be back with you. Thank you for visiting this webinar. In case you need the recording, it is available on our website. And that was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you later.